citing. This is how things are referenced in the body of the work. And there's basically 3 ways to be able to reference things in the body of the work. First way we do it is, what do you cite? Common answer to that is most everything that is not considered to be common knowledge. What is common knowledge? That's a question. Most everybody believes that the world is round. There are those people who know that the world is flat, and there are those people who have no idea what we're talking about. So therefore, if it is considered to be common knowledge, chances are you don't need to cite it. You want to cite Einstein's theory of relativity? I don't think that's common knowledge. It's probably common knowledge among physicists, but everybody else, it's kind of go out there and tell us what you mean. You want to talk about global warming? You better put the parameters down that you're talking about, because global warming in a general sense means general things, but it may not mean that to everyone. Anything that is important in your thesis, if you say so-and-so said something, cite it. If you have a species of organism that does something that's real important, cite where you got the information from. Because chances are, if I don't deal with that particular organism, I don't know whether or not you're telling me the truth. And therefore, cite it. Therefore, the problem no longer becomes yours, it's someone else's. Events must commence before September and include October, November, and December. Thus saith Cabrera et al. 2009. That's no longer my stuff. They said it, and I'm just putting it down that they said it. Now, you can see in here I put down Cabrera et al. 2009, and that tells us who the authors are, and it tells us Cabrera is the lead author, and there's more people on it, and, so you've got 2009 in there. Some places they put it down. Events must commence before September and include October, November, and December, and inside of brackets they put a 5, which means you go to the bibliography, and there in the bibliography you will find reference number 5, and reference number 5 will be Cabrera et al. 2009. So there are a couple of different ways that you can cite it in the text. Which one do you use? Be consistent. For the most part, Cabrera et al. Is easier to deal with and cite than the other one. We deal with citing like that. You can cite using footnotes, and you've all seen the word footnote before. What is footnote? A footnote goes in the footer of the page. And you can see it says up here you've got a number 1, and the footnotes are found at the bottom of the page, and maybe a citation or added material or an explanation. They're numbered sequentially, may start new numbers for each part or chapter, and they are placed on the footer of the page. If you go and read certain psychology books, they often use footnotes. And in the footnotes, you're reading through and you can check it down on the bottom of the page and come back. They may have an explanation or something in a footnote. Footnotes can be a lot of different things. Footnotes may have 2 or 3 references all tied together. They're called footnotes because they are found at the footer of the page. Here it says this is an example of how a footnote works. There is a difference between truth and fact, although not everyone is aware of this. The difference gives rise to the reality that different people can look at the same object or concept with differing viewpoints. One example of this is global warming, where not everyone agrees that it exists or what is the real cause. Down here, the definition of truth in here is truth is based on the individual beliefs of a person. Fact is based on something that can be demonstrated through repetitive process. Where differing viewpoints, this is very evident in the political structure where 2 parties have opposing views on how to solve the same problem. And then down here, real cause, this comes out of Forbes.com cites Warren Meyer, global warming debate. There is your URL that you can go and you can take a look at it. It's a footnote, it's at the bottom of the page. So you can take it, you can explain words, you can put which definition you want, you can explain things like that, and this is done with footnote. For the most part, when we write theses, we don't use a lot of footnotes, but that doesn't mean they don't do it in other areas. Up here, when you're doing this, you can see this is being done on Word. On Word, in this upper part on the reference tab, it says insert footnote over here. So you can put in your footnote, you're going along, you put truth, you hit footnote, takes you to the bottom of the page, you write in what it is. You can go and you can look at your next footnote. You can increase citation, you can decrease a citation. Your style is APA, and it gives you the option of doing all sorts of other styles. And this also says you can do a citation. Citations would go back to the bibliography. Interesting thing in Word over here, when you do it, it says you can actually create a table of contents out of your document. If you put your document together properly, you can get a table of contents out of it. And when you get the table of contents out of it, then all of a sudden it saves you a lot of work updating page numbers and everything. The other possibility we have are endnotes. And endnotes go at the end of a chapter or the end of a book. And in this, it allows you as the author to go out and embellish or talk about something much more extensively than would have been talked about in the previous part. Endnotes are found at the end of the chapter or book and may be a citation or added material or an explanation. They are numbered sequentially. So if you did something, you have some unpublished results, you could put it in EndNote and you could talk about it and pseudo-publish it as an afterthought of what you've got here. That is called an EndNote. And EndNotes therefore become very interesting as well. And again, they're a type of citation. So you could use a bibliography, you can use footnotes, you can use EndNotes, you can use a combination of the three. Really depends on personal preference.